It's Sunday, Domingo, Domingo, Domingo. April 6th in the year 2025, also known as the smartest year ever. My name is Gordy, and today we're talking about why Neanderthals may have been stronger, faster, and possibly even bigger brained than us, and how we still came out on top. That's pretty cool. I mentioned this a few days ago. I just finished Born to Run, A Hidden Tribe, Super Athletes in the Greatest Race the World Has Never Seen by Christopher McDougall. They talked about our ancestors and our kind of evolution and the anthropological reasons for endurance running. They mentioned that our running might have what separated us from the Neanderthals, despite the Neanderthals being a little bit more impressive than us and than what I thought. I think we'd ridden off cavemen and being like, all these idiots, they're stupid and they're dumb, but they might have actually been smarter than us and more athletic. And so why are we here? So I think that's a really fascinating question that I wanted to share with you guys. So that's me asking questions, and I'm telling you what I learned. So let's get right into it, right? Neanderthals were stronger, faster, and maybe even smarter than Homo sapiens. So how did we win? Yeah, indeed. Neanderthals had bigger brains than we do, and also more muscle, more power, and possibly more speed. Basically, they were the NFL linebacker version of humanity, or rugby, or Australian rules football. For a long time, we painted them as dumb, grunting cave people, but the science says otherwise. Neanderthals weren't our primitive cousins, they were our parallel species, and in some ways they may have outclassed us. Physically, they were built like tanks, stocky, broad-chested, barreled, torsoed with thick bones and massive muscle attachments. They likely had greater upper body strength than modern humans, and their grip strength would have made a pull-up bar nervous. There's even evidence that they were fast. Their limb proportions suggest shorter legs but powerful strides, good for sprinting, not marathons. But these guys were sprinters. They were very fast, athletic, strong, powerful, explosive. So while your ancestors were jogging across the savannas for hours, Neanderthals were probably exploding through the woods like an angry rhino, like ambush, fast, quick hunting, like jumping on them, getting them quickly, not like our persistence hunting that I talked about a couple of days ago in the nuchal ligament episode, so check that one out. But how about those brains? So their skulls were larger than ours, up to 1,600 cubic centimeters compared to our average 1,300 to 1,400 cubic centimeters. And I know that means nothing to all of my American listeners. So if you have an issue with that, go check out my metric episode on Fahrenheit too. Everything is relevant now that I've logged 95 episodes. Their bigger skulls don't automatically mean that they were smarter, but it does mean different. Their brains were likely wired for visual-spatial processing, body coordination, and survival in harsh ice age conditions. And they weren't dumb socially either. They buried their dead, they made tools, they hunted in groups. There's evidence that they used medicinal herbs and possibly even made art. At the very least, they weren't just smashing things with rocks and calling it a day. So what happened? Well, around 40,000 years ago, Homo sapiens moved into Europe. Within a few thousand years, Neanderthals were gone. Maybe we outcompeted them. Maybe we interbred with them, because spoiler, if you're non-African, you've got a 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA right now. Yeah, but one interesting theory is that I read that we may have been better at long-distance running and movement, and that ability to relocate and migrate and hunt over. And, if a natural disaster or something hits our area, we can move. We can run long distances, travel long distances in one day. If our food sources run out, we can migrate and go somewhere else. We can hunt down things for a long time. Once animals evolved to get too fast for us. Like a jackrabbit, eventually you catch the slow ones and only the fast ones are mating. And so those Neanderthals eventually weren't fast enough, and their big brains required a ton of calories, things like that. I don't know, all very interesting. There's a ton of theories, but I find that running one very, very compelling. But yeah, so there you have it. Neanderthals may have been stronger, faster, and bigger brained than us, but somehow we outlasted them. Good for us. We did it. Thanks to all my sources, which can be found in the YouTube description. Please leave a comment, like, rate, share, subscribe, follow. If that's different than subscribe, I'd love that. At Smartest Year Ever on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts for the full-length episodes. At Smartest Year Ever on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts for your daily clips. Go hit them up after this. Stay curious, stay clever on our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalists. I will see you tomorrow in the Smartest Year Ever.